You know what's crazy? Dysfunction is absolutely normalized. And I go into these mind like I'll be walking home, right? And I'll go into these like thought processes where I'll literally like go so deep into like mental health, into why things happen the way they do. And then I do my research based off of, actual information that's out there to back up the things that are going on in my mind. I don't just assume these things. I kind of just dig deep mentally, and I'm like, so why is this happening? Or this don't make no sense to me. And then I look up stuff. I'll read a book or I'll find an article that literally backs up what I'm thinking and also adds to what I already knew subconsciously. One of the thoughts I had in Idaho, and I got like a 15-minute video on YouTube where I talk about how dysfunction is normalized in the inner city. And people always wonder why it's such a difference between, going to like the hood areas, the Baltimore, the Detroits, the Phillies, the Chicagos, the LAs, the certain it's hoods everywhere. Why they wonder why there's a certain culture within the hood. And then when you go out to like suburb areas or, areas that aren't like that urban, you feel what I'm saying? It might be some crazy people, but they're sprinkled around. You feel what I'm saying? It might be some toxic trait people, but it's a different vibe. The reason why is like a contrast in a different area is because we have normalized dysfunction in the inner city, and people don't realize that it's even deeper than just being dysfunctional. It's a mental health crisis. Like I was wondering because I come from a narcissistic family system with narcissists, psychopaths, and some sociopaths, and very demonic individuals. You feel what I'm saying? And I was wondering, like, why is it that it's so much turmoil in these areas? It's not only because people are ghetto or, what I'm saying, or people are just toxic within those areas. So I looked up a study on that. I'm like, is it more prevalent? If you look at this New York Post right here, it literally says if you prefer city living over nature, you might be a psychopath. Now, that's just them to pull you in. But the first thing says city slickers are more likely to be psychotic. You know what I'm saying? And then it goes on into this and it talks about like how narcissism, BPD, a lot of the personality disorders, the dysfunction within the communities stem from obviously childhood trauma, stem from genetics, and it's more likely to be within those areas. And considering the fact if you're a generational curse breaker, or if you're somebody who went through a relationship with a cluster B personality disorder, or you went through a relationship with a narcissist, whatever the case may be, you are self aware, but it puts you in a different realm where you start to realize like not everybody knows this is going on. So with inside these communities, the urban communities, the hoods, the areas of lower income, you're going to have narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, and then those people have toxic traits. Those people have toxic traits, which lead to robberies, which leads to car crashes, which leads to cheating in relationships, which leads to broken relationships in families, broken families, broken relationships and friendships. You feel what I'm saying? And catch this. I'm walking home and I'm also thinking that all of that dysfunction is normalized and then is put into the music. The music don't only stay in the hood, the music spreads across the world. You feel what I'm saying? And what is like the most popular music for real, like rap music, right? Then that spreads across the world and everybody's locked into this toxic, low vibrational music and culture that stems from dysfunction, psychopaths, narcissists, and in a normalized, hectic life. And it's crazy because we wonder why we're so depressed or anxiety filled, but we're literally championing, like we champion that lifestyle. So in a sense, like I realized when I stepped away from that, when I stepped away from my toxic family, when I stepped away from these things, that we glorify what is toxic and dysfunctional. So we're technically moving away from what would make us better mentally so we won't be depressed and anxiety filled. where we won't have to say certain things in the music. I used to make a lot of rap music on that level too. And it's funny because I always say everything you indulge in is who you become. So most people, like I said, will glorify that lifestyle. Not saying that you, my thing is, like always say, everything you indulge in is who you become. You will never be able to be what you're be the opposite of what you're complaining about if you don't change yourself. And the only way you change yourself is to not normalize and glorify exactly what's tearing you down. But people don't know. They know their grandma, they know their great grandma, their mom, their dad, their aunt, their uncle, all doing the same thing. They all drinking, they all crashing cars, they all doing blah blah blah. X, Y, and Z, they all doing this stuff. That's normal. That's normal. Little do they know that whole damaging lifestyle is exactly why they're having the issues that they're having in their life. So unless people can be self-aware, unless people can disconnect from what we were taught for years and years in these urban communities, urban cities, and outside of these urban communities, because everybody else is influenced now through the music and through the celebrities and stuff like that, and through what they heard or what they think is cool. You feel what I'm saying? Unless we can separate from that in a sense, then you feel what I'm saying? People just gonna be depressed. People just gonna be anxiety filled. It's gonna be more narcissism. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be. This is just how my mind works, and I just be thinking deep, deep, deep. Like wow, like obviously you can't change the world, and a lot of people aren't capable of being self-aware. But I feel like there's a lot of people who are capable of it, but they're so conditioned to be followers, and they can't think outside the box. But if we all did try to think in that realm, it would be dangerous for whoever's running this, I feel like. But can you blame them for normalizing dysfunction? Because at the end of the day, if all of this is happening, the urban communities, the lower income areas, the system being the way it is, and then they tie race into it and make certain people more prestigious, or it's like a hierarchy society, hierarchy jobs and stuff like that, and all of just the dysfunction mixed together. That was all. I feel like it was all part of design. It might not be specifically how they wanted it to be, but the society benefits off of chaos and drama and stuff like that. So we as people are just the guinea pigs in a way. But anyway, I just want to make a video on my mindset, my mind frame, as I could be walking for like an hour, and I'll literally be click 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 thinking like. But I'm different, you different, we different. It's your boy Josh Different. I'm out.